and gentlemen, welcome to Azeroth Daily for the 12th of January 2011. My name is TotalBiscuit, bringing you your daily dose of WoW news and comment. First, an apology that I was not able to put out a show yesterday. I've not been feeling well over the past week or so, still not exactly feeling great, but much better than I was yesterday. I'll be going to the doctors tomorrow as regards to this, find out what the hell is causing all of this nonsense. Whatever the case, let's get on with it. And in the news today, dungeons are hard, according to Ghostcrawler in this very lengthy article that he posted up on the US Battle.net website. There's a whole lot of information in here, most of which I would agree with without question, although I have to say that a lot of it does seem to be platitudes, bearing in mind what I'm about to say. You can read the whole thing in the description below this video. The reason why I think that Ghostcrawler's post is actually full of platitudes is the fact that the public patch notes have been released for patch 4.0.6, which is currently on the PTR, and it includes no less than 19 nerfs to heroic content and only 7 buffs in return. So I don't know how seriously I can actually take that, I'm afraid. Well, yes, heroics are hard. We want to make them hard. Let's nerf 19 things for no apparent reason. And some of these things are fairly major, including, I'd like to point out, the fact that an entire ability has been taken away from Baron Ashbury. And it wasn't even a difficult ability. Oh, you have to interrupt it. Okay, that's really hard, I guess. We're just going to get rid of that entirely? What? I don't even know. I really don't. Baron Ashbury was one of the best encounters they put together. The fact that they're taking a key mechanic out of that fight entirely is ridiculous, and they certainly haven't justified it. You know, it would feel much better to me if they actually justified why in the patch notes that they did these things, instead of making jokes like, in his hubris, he's forgotten to mend flesh. Yeah, that's nice, but you didn't say why. That would be great. A little bit of justification and rationale and rhyme and reason, if you please. There's an official Blizzard post in regards to TotalBiscuit balance that's cropped up on the US Battle.net website as well, and you might want to read this, including some discussion as to the actual design goal behind TotalBiscuit, in that they wanted the defenders to feel like it was very urgent in order to defend it, because attacking and getting it back after losing it is really hard, as opposed to, say, Wintergrass, where that wasn't really the case and it was changing hands on a very regular basis. You can read the full article in the description below this video, and it also hints at continuing balance changes to make TotalBiscuit a reasonable experience. There's a new article on the EU Battle.net site in regards to what to do if you get hacked. This is a frequent, incredibly frequent question that's brought out, and this article is a one-stop shop to tell you exactly what you need to do if you get hacked. So please go and read it if you have any doubts whatsoever as to the procedure. The Cataclysm soundtrack is now being released on iTunes, called the Cataclysm LP, and I can also confirm that this is identical to the CD that those of us who bought the collector's edition got in our boxes. So if you do want to buy that, you can find the link in the description below this video, and it does have some fairly nice medleys, although I have to say that pretty much all of this music is also available in the game itself. Aside from the nice mixes and the fact that it's obviously of higher quality, you're not actually going to find anything new here. And if you're looking to spruce up your wallpaper, this would be a good start. New wallpapers come out with the Deep Home loading screen, available in a variety of sizes for your delectations. You can click the link below this video to find it and download it. And with that, it's time for your Daily Blues. Activision QT accuses every developer of favoring the mage, and as a mage, may I just say... Anyway... Zahim comes along and says that yes, absolutely, they are deliberately doing it to annoy you. We all knew it. There you go, blue confirmation. Lays makes some sadly out-of-date recommendations as to how to deal with gold spammers, seemingly ignoring the fact that all of these suggestions have been implemented for quite some time. Rorax goes on to say, and this is a good reminder to everyone, that the best way to stop gold spamming is to stop buying gold to begin with. If there were not a market, there would not be gold spamming, and bear in mind that gold spammers are generally on compromised accounts, which is where the gold actually comes from. So once again, if you're buying gold, then you're basically stealing it out of the pocket of one of your guild mates. Just consider that the next time somebody gets hacked, or you indeed consider buying gold. Takralos responds to yet another post in regards to Icelands. People seem to have seen, oh, Icelands is getting buffed, and suddenly gone, absolutely crazy. He reminds people that actually the Ice Lance buff is to ensure that it doesn't become underpowered after they nerfed every single frost damage effect on frozen targets. They nerfed it down by about 15%, so they buffed up Ice Lance so that it wouldn't be completely useless now. What it actually means is that Ice Lance continues to be useful in a PvE environment when Fingers of Frost is up, but is now significantly less damaging in PvP. So actually, it was kind of a nerf, which you'd know if you'd bothered to read past the first 5 words. And with that, it's time for your daily grind. This is a series of quests that I'm going to be featuring over the next couple of days. They track the adventures of Zenkiki in the Western Plague Lands. The first quest involves helping Zenkiki kill some plagued animals. You can kill pretty much any of the plagued animals in this area, and while the quest may seem fairly mundane, what makes it interesting is the fact that Zenkiki will accompany you and do a wide variety of different things, most of which include failing horribly, including, say, Moonfire spamming himself and turning into aquatic form on land. Zenkiki is not very good at being a druid, and will feature some more of his adventures in future episodes. And with that, it's time for your weekly feature. This is the Court of Law. You may have noticed over the past few weeks that I've been fixating on the main antagonists in the World of Warcraft Cataclysm expansion, so this week is going to be no exception because we're going to be talking about the one and only Nefarian. So, Nefarian's the eldest son of Deathwing, also known as Lord Victor Nefarious, Lord of Blackrock. After the defeat of Deathwing during the Battle of Grim Batol, both Nefarian and his sister Onyxia rose to take control of the remainder of the Black Dragonflight. Claiming dominion over Blackrock Spire and the Blackrock clan, Nefarian made war with Ragnaros for control of the entire mountain. He allied himself with Rend Blackhand, the false war chief and leader of the Dark Horde. He continued the original work of his father, attempting to create a more powerful Dragonflight in the form of the Chromatic, in order to dominate the rest of the Dragonflight aspects. His experiments could be seen throughout Blackwing Lair, including various forms of Draconoid and the lumbering monstrosity Chromagus. Responding to this threat, heroes from the Alliance and Horde were able to defeat Rend Blackhand and venture onwards into Blackwing Lair. They weren't the first to attempt this, however, as Veilstraz, a powerful red dragon, had also attempted to defeat Nefarian, but had failed in the attempt and succumbed to his corrupting power. Veilstraz was the guardian of a powerful artifact, and after his defeat, Nefarian came into possession of the Red Shard of the Scepter of the Shifting Sands. This item was required to gain access to the fallen city of Ahn'Qiraj, in which the old god Cthulhu resided. He attempted to destroy it, but was slain by heroes of the Alliance and Horde before he could do so. Nefarian's head was mounted on a pike by High Overlord Sourfang for all to see. There are rumors that the essence of Nefarian was used in the creation of the Twilight Dragon Darganax by Nefarian's mother Syntharia. There's even the possibility that Darganax was actually Nefarian resurrected, but these rumors cannot be confirmed. Darganax was eventually destroyed, presumably taking Syntharia with him, however this is obviously not the case. Syntharia returned after the Cataclysm, as did Nefarian, though in a much altered, presumably undead form. He now resides in a large laboratory complex named the Blackwing Descent, where he continues various twisted experiments, assisted by his minion Meloriac. While most have been far from successful, Nefarian has still managed to find a use for these twisted abominations, including the Blind Dragon and Tramades. With the summoning of Ragnaros into Mount Hyjal by Deathwing, Nefarian has also put aside his conflict with the Elemental Lord. And with that, it's time for the mailbox. This one comes in from Harry, who says, I'm interested to know your thoughts on the prices charged by Blizzard for its various character services. I am one who will only play WoW when I have real-life friends also playing with me. However, problems arise when my friends want to re-roll on a new server or even a new faction. I have several high-level characters I wish to continue playing with, yet to do so I'll have to spend over $100 merely transferring all of them to the same server/faction that my friends switch to. It seems ridiculous for Blizzard to charge such substantial fees when such processes can be entirely automated at no expense to them. Would it be too much to ask for all my characters to be put on the same realm for the price of one character transfer? Does there even need to be a price for character services? We already pay a subscription. I couldn't agree more, honestly. I really couldn't. I have disliked the fact that Blizzard have charged such fees for a very long time, and the fact that the fees are actually, in many cases, utterly outrageously high for what actually happens. And yes, the process is basically entirely automated. I'm not going to believe that there's a bunch of GMs sitting behind that, manually approving every transfer and actually transferring things over. I've had a transfer happen in 15 seconds. I find that very, very unlikely that there are actual people doing that. There is no reason for there to be such a high cost. What you're suggesting there is entirely reasonable, the ability to transfer all of your characters for a single fee from one server. Why can't you do that? I mean, the idea that you have to spend $100 to move 4 characters, that is absurd. It really is. That is absolutely ridiculous. You're paying for nothing, effectively. You're paying for the privilege of being able to move your characters and go play with friends, which, to me, smacks of hypocrisy from Blizzard. It really does. Because Blizzard is all about, oh, the community, oh, play with your friends, be part of a group, be part of this society. But I can't unless I pay you a bunch of money. And you can make the argument, oh, well, you can just re-roll. Why would you want to? Another thing that keeps people actually playing is the inherent value that people have in characters they've had for a long time. They acquire sentimental value. That's actually a reason for people to continue to subscribe. Why exactly would Blizzard want you to throw that away in favor of a brand new character? It's just absurd. Yeah, they absolutely should either vastly reduce the cost or remove it entirely. There is no justification for it. It is money grubbing. This one comes in from Alex, who says, hey TB, I've got a problem. I lived in the US my whole life and moved to Europe a couple of months ago, and my WoW time runs out in a couple of weeks. I play on WoW servers and have an 85, which took me a long time to grind to, but I need to buy a game card. So I went to the store, bought one, tried to redeem it, and it doesn't work. And I sold the game card to my friend who plays EU servers. I need a US time card because I'm in full heroics now and ready to start raiding. I was going to buy a game card for gold, but it's unsafe and illegal, I'm pretty sure. What would your advice be? I've called Blizzard already, but they said they can't transfer my characters to European realms. Is there anything you can do to help? Well, I can give you advice on that, and that's, yeah, you can't transfer from EU to US. I wish you could, but you can't. There have been a couple of cases where people have apparently managed it, but again, that's just rumors. There's been no evidence to substantiate that, and honestly, that's probably just friends of GMs or friends of people that are working in Blizzard in general. Now, what I would suggest is, if you want to get a US time card, the best way to do it is to go and have a look at some of the websites that will sell the codes via PayPal transaction or something like that. It's probably the best thing I can suggest. A website like Shattered Crystal, I buy my cards from Shattered Crystal, for instance, for the contest that we have every week for postcards from Azeroth. They're reliable, they're worth doing. Admittedly, that's still not necessarily easy for a miner, because they might not accept a method of payment that you have access to, but it's certainly worth a shot. Aside from that, there really isn't anything else you can do. This final question comes in from Vanderves, who says, hey Biscuit, my friend has been playing Guild Wars for a long time and is looking forward to Guild Wars 2. I have no problem with this, except that he keeps trying to rub it in, and that it's going to be so much better than World of Warcraft. I'm all for trying out Guild Wars 2, but I saw your previous Azeroth Daily, and someone asked a similar question about the Old Republic. I know you said WoW will never be beaten, but Guild Wars 2 might be the game to do that. It is essentially a copy of WoW. I've seen gameplay, and I don't think it's that great, but my friend insists it's going to be amazing. What are your thoughts? Well, for one, it's not a copy of WoW at all. Have you actually seen the systems they have going into Guild Wars 2? The whole bunch of things. For one thing, every class can heal. Every class can do damage. There are no set tanking classes, there are no set healing classes, and half of your abilities are actually determined by the weapon that you're using. So, no, it really isn't a lot like WoW at all. They have at least taken out the instanced adventure areas that were in the original and made it a bit more MMO-like. But the stuff like the fact that questing is often long dynamic chains that actually affect the world that you're in. It's not a static world anymore. We're not just talking about the idea of phasing either. It's something that actually happens within the world and stays that way, and if it's then left unattended, it will gradually return to the state it was before. So like, say you're driving orcs out of an area, you have to keep destroying the various areas and drive them all the way back to their fortress, etc., defeat them, but they might start rebuilding and then start spreading out again in a more dynamic way. No, it's not the same game. Don't mistake it for the same game. As to whether or not it'll work, again, we don't know because nobody's played the bloody thing beyond mere tech demos and things like that. There's no beta available, it's probably not even an alpha yet, so you can't really make assumptions. But competition is a good thing. It's always going to be a good thing. It forces companies to innovate, and it forces companies to increase the quality of their product. And yeah, if loads of people abandon WoW for Guild Wars 2 and it actually works out, then Blizzard most likely will improve their game to compensate for that. And that's a good thing for WoW players. If it falls flat on its face, then it'll just once again prove that WoW is pretty much the apex of this kind of game, and maybe they'll once again go and have a look at what worked and what didn't in that game and maybe borrow some cool elements from it. So again, competition is a very good thing indeed. Okay, folks, I'm done for the day. Thanks a lot for watching Azeroth Daily. If I don't put an episode out, it's probably because I'm sick or ill or whatever. Please pay attention to the bulletin. I have a bulletin on the front page of the channel that is always updated with information information as to what's happening, please read it. It'll also appear on your YouTube front page if you're subscribed to this channel. So please pay attention to that. That would be the way that I would keep you guys informed. Thanks a lot, guys, and I will see you next time.